Is this game dead? Where have all the devlogs gone? Have you stopped development? Has it been released? You guys alright? Is the game cancelled?
Well, yes and no. Yes, we are alright, and no, the game is not cancelled.
Despite the lack of devlogs these last months, we have actually worked really hard and made a lot of progress on the game. Both visible progress and not so visible progress.
But before we take a look at that, where did we left off in the last video?
Well, in the last devlog, I showed you how we came up with the design for our final boss and his level. At the time, he had no attacks yet, and we weren't super happy about how the level looked, with all the surrounding lava taking too much focus. So, after uploading the last devlog, we decided to make some changes to the level to make it look better. But when I played the level on my laptop, I noticed that the optimization was really bad. Instead of getting 60 frames per second, as intended, I could only run it at like 12 frames per second.
Which is not acceptable.
So I had to destroy the whole level and then rebuild it again with some better code. It was a tedious job, but now the level looks a lot better and also runs at 60 FPS. Okay, great, whatever Jonas, the new level looks great and runs really smooth. But what about all the other progress you talked about? How come you haven't made a devlog and showed us something?
Well, let me explain.
After giving the final boss all of his attacks, we decided that we wanted to keep them a secret. So people have something to look forward to when playing the game.
So I couldn't make a devlog about that.
We then spent some time making an advanced death animation for the final boss. And also built some other stuff you get to see after beating the game. But of course, we also wanted to keep that a secret.
So I couldn't show you that either.
We have also spent some time hiding lots of funny secrets, references and other Easter eggs in the game. Something to flesh out the game with and give people something else to search for, besides killing enemies. And what's the point of hiding lots of secrets and then make a video to show them?
So again, I couldn't make a devlog about it.
And I have also spent a couple of months just trying to optimize the code. Not necessarily to make the game run smoother, but to make it easier for us to quickly add lots of new abilities, outfits and so on. And I guess it wouldn't be super exciting for you guys to watch a video of me trying to optimize the code. But Jonas, you might say, do you mean that after all these months you have absolutely nothing to show us?
Good question, random viewer. In fact, I do have some stuff to show you.
Let's start with something small that we have added to Mr Sandman's temple. Mr Sandman would always complain about the stupid birds destroying the flowers in his temple. We felt that it was time to finally give him a secret weapon. So, let me introduce you to Mr Sandman's new kitten, Midnight. Midnight will now walk around inside Mr Sandman's temple and chase away any bird that gets too close to her. And before you ask, yes, of course, you can pet the cat. But pet her too much and she will get irritated and run away from you. I don't know why, but it's really fun to pet animals in games. So we want to reuse this feature and add more animals to the game that you can interact with.
And speaking of interacting, we have also added some new NPCs to the game.
Because finding the Easter Bunny on every floor in the nightmare felt a bit repetitive. So, the first of our new NPCs is Santa.
Ho ho ho!
If you've been following these devlogs since the beginning, you might remember that Santa used to be in the game, but he got removed before we released the demo. When entering a room, there was a small chance that you would run into Santa. You would both drop your items and then compete against each other to pick up as much as possible. Although this was a fun little minigame, there was no way to avoid it. And we didn't want to force players to do it, so we just decided to remove Santa.
But Santa still felt like a character that should exist in Billy's Nightmare.
So we removed the minigame, kept Santa's animations, and made him a normal NPC instead. If you find his workshop, he tells you that he forgot to hand out a Christmas gift. so he lets you take it. And just like the Easter egg in Easter Bunny's home, the Christmas gift contains a random ability. Unfortunately, this basically makes Santa a reskin of the Easter Bunny.
Ho ho ho!
So, if you have any suggestions on how we can make Santa different, let me know down in the comments. Anyway, another new NPC that we have added is the superhero. But why is he in a wheelchair? Well, since both Santa and the Easter Bunny just give you a free ability, we wanted to add an NPC that asks you for a favor first, like a quest. So we decided to add an NPC that asks you to kill all the enemies on the current floor, and then you will get some stuff as a reward. Superheroes usually deal with bad guys, so it felt like a good idea to let him have the kill quest. We then decided to put him in a wheelchair, as the reason to why he asks Billy to do the work for him instead. If you try to take the reward before finishing the quest, the superhero's secret stash won't open. But once you kill all the enemies on the current floor and return to the superhero's hideout, the stash will open and give you an ability. And since you are required to finish a quest first, you are also rewarded with some teeth and sleeping pills. Otherwise, it would feel a bit cheap.
For the next NPC, we wanted to create some kind of black market.
Kinda like a secondary shop, where you're always guaranteed to find some of the best abilities in the game, with the catch that everything is more expensive than usual. So it felt like a good idea to make this NPC a pirate.
Arr!
And have him sell you some of his high quality loot. In the middle of his room there's a table, which will spawn 6 random abilities with the epic or purple rank. At the moment, the electric balloon is our only epic ability, so of course we'll have to add some more.
After adding all these NPCs that give or sell you abilities, we now wanted to add an NPC with another purpose.
So we got the idea to add a place where you can gamble with your health to get more teeth, which you can save up to buy stuff with. And since teeth is the currency you would receive, and you would risk losing HP in the process, it felt like a good idea to make the NPC a dentist with a big drill. And yeah, I know, a dentist feels more like an enemy than an NPC. Which is something that people on our Discord server pointed out. But since we needed a place where you would get teeth, a dentist had to do. When interacting with a drill, you always get some teeth. But you don't lose health every time. The drill just has a random chance to deal damage, so it's up to you if you want to risk it or not. And the final NPC that we have added so far is the pet shop girl.
Hello.
And she lives, well, in a pet shop. So, what's her purpose?
Well, to explain that, let me take you back in time.
2 years ago, back in Devlog 13, I talked about your most requested abilities for the game. One of the abilities I showed you in that video was the Summon Dragon ability. Billy could spawn a friendly dragon that would follow him around and attack enemies with fireballs. The ability to summon a guardian for Billy was very fun, but also felt a bit overpowered, since you could spawn the dragon over and over again on a cooldown. The dragon was also pretty bugged, so unfortunately the Summon Dragon ability never made it into the demo release of the game. But since we really like the dragon, he now makes a comeback 2 years later. In the middle of the pet shop, there's a mysterious animal carrier that you can interact with. When you open it, a random guardian will spawn and follow you around. This way, we can have friendly animals that help you without being too overpowered. Because now that it's no longer an ability on a cooldown, you can't summon another guardian if it dies. Unless you are one of those people who like to cheat. Then you can spawn an unlimited amount of guardians and break the game.
So, what's next for Billy's nightmare?
Well, at this point, we're basically finished with all the important stuff for the game. We have a tutorial which teaches you how to play and introduces you to the story of the game. We have 3 levels with different themes and increasing difficulty. And we're also finished with the final boss fight and the ending to the game.
So, what's left to do before we can finally release the game on Steam?
Well, now we are at that fun part of game development, where we can focus on just adding lots of random stuff to make the game feel more alive. We're going to add some more secrets and Easter eggs to the game, and then we will focus on just adding lots and lots of abilities to find, and outfits for Billy to unlock. And I guess we'll add a couple of more NPCs to the game. And definitely some more guardians, other than the dragon. So we'd love to get some ideas from you guys. So, what kind of NPCs and guardians should we add to the game? Let me know down in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.